Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for yet another late night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. It's now Tuesday going into Wednesday, July 12th into the 13th, 2011. Sorry for naming the archive wrong yesterday. I was really tired after my road trip, so put the wrong date on there. So what I did tonight on tonight's archive, it'll also be dated the 12th. In parentheses, it will say Tuesday. So when you download the archive, there you go. So thanks for being with us tonight. Glad you can stay up late with us. We've got a ton of news here tonight, big stack of it. So I'm going to be wanting to dive right into that. I had a bunch left over from last night because I sort of got, I don't know, it was just sort of wide open last night. So I was kind of getting into, a lot of different rants and a lot of different topics and stuff I wanted to talk about. So we were doing that last night. So we didn't get to get into all of our news here last night. So we have a few stories left from yesterday. We've got a few more here today, but some very pertinent, important stuff I want to get into with you here tonight. And we also will continue to read tonight. We didn't do this last night just because we got into other stuff. But tonight we're going to pick up where we left off last week. Chapter 132 of The Lost Book of Enki. So, and as I forewarned you last night, let me go ahead and take that warning into heed tonight. We're going to get into some more because this is what they're about to start creating mankind as a slave race. So I think we're about to get into some more of that, naughty XXX Anunnaki porn. Waka, 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 bow, wow, yeah.
Give me some of that sweet Nephilim love, baby. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be some more that dirty XXX Anunnaki talk tonight. We promised last night, but we didn't get into it. So tonight, you pervs out there will get your just rewards tonight. Global Reality Show at gmail.com. It's Global Reality Show at gmail.com. That's my email address if you want to send in emails during the show or anytime to me. And if you got a question, a comment, a news item, anything else, anything you want me to read on here, that's where you send it at. My website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. So if you're listening on a YouTube video or somewhere else later, thank you so much for tuning in. That is my website where you can find all of my work and all the news and everything we put up there. Chat room. Big shout out to everybody in the chat room. Got a lot of chatters, a lot of new listeners coming on board already. It's been kind of a day for me. The Red Ice Radio interview that I conducted last week is now live on the Red Ice Radio website. Hour one there, it's free. You have to be a subscriber. And it's a good deal, though. I mean, they give you like 3 months or something for $23. It's really not a bad deal if you become a member of Red Ice. But hour two is member only. But if you listen to the Global Reality Radio Network, you can hear both hours of that Red Ice Radio interview broadcast here live on the stream. So after our live broadcast ends tonight, keep it locked here to the network and you will hear the replay. If you haven't heard that yet, you want to hear both hours, we will be playing both hours of that, hour 1 and 2 here tonight for you. following this live broadcast right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. So I think it's going to be a huge supernova thing. I was kind of listening back to some of it, and when you're in the moment of it, you know, I mean, I just get comfortable. I'm comfortable in front of the microphone, so it doesn't matter. Same stuff's going to come out of my mouth, no matter who I'm talking to or where I'm doing the show at or anything else. No matter what show it's going to be on. If I was on Coast to Coast AM or anything else, I'd be doing the same thing. That's all I can do, And I was kind of hearing back some of the rebroadcasts earlier. We were playing it on the stream, and I was going, man, wow, I really went there, didn't I? Sometimes, you get in the moment and you forget, wow, I said that. But yeah, I mean, I gotta give props to Henrik and the whole Red Ice crew over there. I really think they did a fantastic job. If you haven't seen the graphic artwork that they made, and there's a different artwork in hour 2 that they made from a picture of me and the stuff I talk about. Fantastic artwork. I got to give it up for them. I'd love to have that. Like, I may send them an email and ask them, Lana over there at the network, if they'll send me like the proofs of that or whatever. It was a really good job, really. And I always I've always seen them do that with other people's, and that would be cool. Hopefully they'll do one of those for me. We'll see how it looks. I really thought they did a fantastic job on that. The production, the presentation of my show, the way that they put the secret ride up there, they put links. They actually went and did all of their own homework and found links to stuff that I talked about and put that up underneath the art. I mean, that's a good job, man. Going actually and going finding the links to the stuff that I talked about and putting it under there so people can find that. So thanks to those guys, and I think it's going to be supernova. I think it's going to be gigantic. And I knew it was going to be gigantic. When the haters and trolls and stuff start coming out, and the people who just ad hominem attack you and never confront you on your information. When I start seeing those come out, I always feel like there's about to be a boost in what I'm doing. And yet again, here we go. I got an email today. Funny, last night on the show, those of you that were listening would have heard my diatribe last night about television and about how they seem to be putting all these conspiracy shows and stuff like that. Trying because TV's lost all of its credibility, and the only people that really have credibility left anymore are people in the alternative media. And I was just talking about people who go on these TV shows and stuff. It's so funny because I was making fun of that whole thing and saying, it's stupid and whatever have you. And here we go. Lo and behold, today I get this email. I'm not going to give you the person's name, but they just say, I'm a casting director at Left Right TV, an award-winning television production company based in New York City. We are currently developing an exciting new documentary series about past and present true life homicide investigations, and we're searching for passionate, credible experts in the fields of forensic science, criminology, or homicide investigation. We're also interested in hearing from individuals who have strong opinions about a variety of topics. I am a fan of your radio program and very interested in considering you, Josh Reeves, for our series. Left Right is a nonfiction television production company that specializes in telling real stories about extraordinary people. Our recent series ran the gamut from any Emmy-winning Showtime documentary series, This American Life, to VH1's dramatic new series, Mob Wives, to the compelling Planet Green series, Boomtown. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts, Becky. So it appears that, it appears that, I've got some kind of offer to be on a TV show. But anyway, no, I promise you, it's not a snow job, brother. It's the real deal. And I'll tell you how I know, because I'm meeting with the producers tomorrow for a conference. No, it's very real. They believe me. They tracked down my bandmate and found our booking phone number to get a hold of them. So no, it's been confirmed. It's all the way legit. So yeah. Well, I'll be going to be having a conference. So it's some amazing stuff, folks. It looks like, we may have an opportunity here to, I don't know. I don't know what it's an opportunity to do, to be honest with you. just seems like an opportunity. So it seems like something I'm definitely going to be interested in checking out, see what happens. You never know. So I don't know. It was on the message they left. See, I thought that from that email, they were kind of vague about what they wanted. I thought maybe they wanted me to be a guest on some show and maybe talk about something. They're definitely they put on some very good shows. Definitely looks like they've done some work, but yeah, it's the real deal. I've got the phone number here. I've already confirmed all this. I've talked with the casting director already, so I'm having a meeting, I guess, with her tomorrow, a Skype conference. Of course, she's going to give me more information. We're going to talk about this. So, a big fan of the show and works in TV. I mean, I know that we have people that work at the high levels that have been listening to our show and stuff for a period of time, and that's that's awesome. I think it's a testament to the work we're trying to do here because people are waking up all over, and it's now becoming very popular to talk about these topics, and people are becoming very, very interested in them. And so the people that create the shows for television, that's why they track and trace everything. That's why they track Nielsen ratings. That's why they track buzz on Facebook, social networking sites. And because so much internet traffic has been generated through topics like what we talk about here on this show, they've got to put on the television whatever people are going to watch and potentially buy the advertisers' products. They've got to put that on there regardless of whether or not they really agree with the person that they're putting on there or what have you. So, yeah, maybe they want me to say suck Satan's cock to perps. What, you think they would just want to hire me just to sit around on a microphone all day and go,
suck Satan's cock? Up next on ABC Family Channel, the Suck Satan's Cock Hour.
I mean, I'd do that, but no, shatter the illusion. Exactly. That's the whole thing is the whole thing is an illusion. But people of our generation know that television is an illusion. Everything that comes out of it, for the most part, is bullshit. But the older generation, people of our parents' generation, to them, it's not legit unless it comes out of the TV. You know what I mean? There are a whole generation of people that really think that. So what's interesting about that effect is that, and this is honest to God fact, if you have somebody like me on a show that's because this kind of sounds like it's, that's why I'm actually interested in this. It doesn't sound like it's anything like conspiracy related or, it just sounds like it's pretty, straightforward. It's talking about, past, present, true life homicide investigations. And, it sounds very interesting to me. And I think if I was on something like that, people who might go and look up my website and stuff and find, oh my goodness, he's talking about all these crazy things, but yet on this show, he seemed to be talking about, things that I seem to be true, that I know to be true, you see? So it's going to cause this sort of internal schism where they've first seen me on television and associate me with this, past and present true life homicide investigation stuff, very credible stuff. And then they might find the work that I've done on the radio show and, it might come across to them there. They might hear some of the things I'm saying and go, well, if he was on TV, they must say it's an illusion. The whole thing's an illusion. But we have to start finding effective ways to make the illusion work in our favor instead of working against us all the time. And I think this could be one of those. I don't have to get up there and do my spiel about the CMP or any of this information, what have you, for it to affect our work in a positive manner. Because again, people are going to see my name, they're going to see my website, they're going to go check it out. And to me, that's what's important. So, it's an opportunity. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to see if it's doable for me. I'm going to see, there's no harm in checking it out, is the way I see it. So I'm going to check it out. See what the deal is. Sounds at least interesting to me, but I'd like to know more information. I'd like to know the fine details and the black and white of it. But the weird thing is that they weren't real clear about what they wanted me to do. They didn't say we wanted you to be a guest. It just says that we're searching for passionate, credible experts and interested in hearing from individuals who have strong opinions about a variety of topics. But they didn't say but in the message that they left on Delphi's phone, they said something about looking for a host. I don't know. I mean, that'd be something, wouldn't it? Anyway, it's pretty amazing, though. I mean, I think that that just to have even the opportunity and to be asked to go this far and that they're interested is great, whether anything comes out of it or not. But it's it's very cool. That's all I can say. It's very cool. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted on that. Let's get into our news here tonight. You guys hear about this new TV fakery that happened over 4th of July weekend? This is the third or fourth time they've done this. They've done this several years in a row. They did this at the Olympics in China a few years ago. Those who watched Boston's revered 4th of July celebration Monday night on CBS were treated to spectacular views of fireworks exploding from behind the State House, Quincy Market, and the home plate at Fenway Park, among other places. Great views until you consider that they were physically impossible. As viewers began to point out yesterday, it would not have been geographically possible to see the fireworks above and behind the landmarks in question, since the display was launched from a barge in the Charles River and in directions away from those places. According to CBS, you can see the fireworks from the right side of Quincy Market, even though Beacon Hill is in the way, wrote Cass, whose real name is Carl Clodfelter, a commenter on the Boston blog universalhub.com. Also, they come up behind the State House when you're standing across the road. So, it says a CBS television spokesman declined to comment about whether the network was aware of or approved of the fireworks show being digitally altered. So, it's interesting that they would do this and then be adamant about admitting to it. But again, everything that comes out of the TV is an illusion. If I end up going on the TV, you should probably accept what you see there as part of that illusion. Because, when it's my time and it's me and I'm here and I'm doing this, that's real. When you go to do something for someone else's, network, radio network or TV network, at that point, your will about what it is you're being involved in and how it's coming across is out of your hands. The only reason if this had been something about, wanting me to be on one of these conspiracy shows or, some horse shit like that, I wouldn't even be interested in this. But the fact of the matter is, it's something totally different than that. And that's why it sounds interesting, because I don't want to, I don't want to go on one of these shows where they just take everything I say out of context and, use it to further prove why I can, people who talk about real issues are kook conspiracy theorists and everything else. I'm never going to put myself in one of those. I don't have any interest in being in one of those situations. If they asked me to do Ancient Aliens or something like that, I probably would. I'd do that before I would never do the Alex Jones show ever for any reason. There's no reason for me to go on there, knowing what I know about that cocksucker. But yeah, I'd probably go on Ancient Aliens or something like that if they asked me to, Why not? An ancient landscape long ago submerged beneath the North Atlantic has been discovered by scientists. Researchers found the 56 million-year-old lost terrain, which they have likened to the mythical lost city of Atlantis. by analyzing data collected for oil companies using an advanced echo sounding technique. The 1.2 mile deep landscape is located in the North Atlantic west of the Orkney Shetland Islands and has peaks that once belonged to mountains in 8 major rivers. It would once have risen up to 0.6 miles above sea level and probably joined up with what is now Scotland. It may have even stretched as far as Norway, the scientists suggest. Researchers Nikki White from the University of Cambridge said that it looks for all the world like a map of a bit of a country on shore. It's like an ancient fossil landscape preserved 1.2 million miles or 0.2 miles below the seabed. The discovery came from data gathered by seismic contracting companies. A high-tech echo sounding technique was deployed that involved releasing high-pressure air underwater. And this is the third or fourth time they've come out with different things saying they may have found Atlantis. And with the reason they're trying to find all this stuff more and more now is because they've got all this, they've got HARP and they've got earth-penetrating tomography. They've got all this stuff that where they're looking for iridium and gold and oil and all these resources and whatnot. So they're inadvertently finding things that time is buried. And, just the timing of it seems very odd to me. It really does seem as if they are kind of rolling all this out at a particular time, whether it's to reinforce the idea of a hostile alien invasion or fake alien invasion or whatever have you. It definitely seems that they're rolling this out for a much later delivery on a much bigger issue of this. The implications of what it has to mankind and our history here on Earth and gods and religion and the rest of this stuff. China's rapidly expanding satellite program could alter power dynamics in Asia and reduce the U.S. military scope for operations in the region. Chinese reconnaissance satellites can now monitor targets for up to 6 hours a day. The World Security Institute, a Washington think tank, has concluded in a new report. So they now have spy satellites. The whole supremacy of space is, we've conquered space. The takeover of space has happened. This is why we're, as I talked about last night, we're ending our space program pretty much. But we're only ending it so they can bring in next generation robots. So we've got several stories pertaining to robots here tonight for some odd reason. It just seems to be certain times, certain days, you just get a flood of this. They're very much pushing the whole idea of transhumanism, the whole idea of machines starting to do more of the labor for humanity. And boy, you just can't help but think that as we start to continue to see them rolling out this simultaneously overpopulation stuff and global warming stuff, and also rolling out all this stuff about robots, you just can't help but think that they're going to try and sweet talk us into mass exterminations and try to rationalize that with us in the near future. Where did that article go? I hate when that happens. Oh, there it is. Space robot to practice refueling satellites. This is from Reuters. This came out on Monday. With the end of the space shuttle program in sight, the U.S. government intends to stimulate development of private space transportation and also to lay the foundation for an entire new industry to service satellites in orbit. The robotic refueling mission is flying aboard the space shuttle Atlantis, and will use the International Space Station's Dexter robot to test tools for refueling and repairing existing satellites, none of which were designed to were designed with reuse in mind. I've likened it to a Fisher-Price play toy for a robot, and I don't mean that in a negative sense. Chris Ferguson and 3 crewmates arrived at the space station on Sunday to deliver a year's worth of food, clothing, and other supplies. The mission is the 135th and the final flight in the 30-year-old shuttle program, which is ending due to high costs. NASA hired 2 firms, Space Exploration Technology and Orbital Sciences Corporation, to deliver cargo to the station beginning next year. The Obama administration wants NASA to buy rides for its astronauts as well, though no commercial suppliers are expected to be available until around 2015. In the meantime, the United States will pay Russia for space taxi flights at a cost of more than $50 million a seat. There's just, we've got the Black Ops space shuttle is still going up there. It's just ridiculous. There were ridiculous milking and expenditure of money to further weaken the United States. We can't. But he's saying Obama says now that Social Security checks may not go out in August because they're getting ready to default on all their loans and everything, and there may not be. So there's going to be riots if that happens. But yet we can talk about spending $50 million a seat on a Russian space taxi for astronauts, like it's nothing. When we have technology years beyond any of this antiquated shite they're telling us they're not going to have for another 30 years. Give me a break. Only an idiot would think that. It's designed for people that are idiots that just don't know the reality of what goes on in the world around them. A lot of them don't want to know. But just because you don't want to know doesn't make it go away and doesn't make it any less real. The $22.6 million robotic refueling mission equipment is scheduled to be installed in the outside of the space station along the 6.5-hour spacewalk on Tuesday, which you're saying now is capable of being treacherous due to space junk. I think there's something on the horizon with this space junk. I think we may see another, alleged disaster. I say alleged because supposedly the last two shuttle disasters we've had have not been a result of the stories that they've told us, but have been a result of deliberate shoot downs from space-based weapons in our atmosphere that got false positives on the space shuttles and thought they were extraterrestrial UFOs and shot them down. Now, that's a widely held belief, and it does sound plausible. But they're really pushing this idea of space junk, and it seems like they're deflecting away from something. I don't know. I think something's going to happen with this spacewalk. I guess it happened today. I don't know. I didn't hear if it went well or didn't go well. I think something's going to happen here real soon with the whole space shuttle thing and the whole satellites, the space station thing. It just feels like something's coming around the corner. But yeah, they're going to send robots up there to do that now. You guys remember a few months ago I was talking about MSRA and these various different superbugs, and I said that the next thing on the horizon is probably going to be drug-resistant STDs. The kind of stuff that not only can you not wash off with a little Dove and a scrubbing pad, but the kind of stuff that, could kill you. Well, seems I was right yet again. Scientists have found a superbug strain of gonorrhea in Japan that is resistant to all recommended antibiotics and says it could transform a once easily treatable infection into a global public health threat. Yeah, it's probably been fucking zapped with radiation from Fukushima and turned into some fucking strain. No wonder it's they ought to just, I'm sorry, I hate to have to say this. I probably shouldn't say it. But I mean, if Japan is causing the tainting of our food supply and Japan is causing the tainting of causing superbug strains of gonorrhea, and they can't get that thing under control, and it's threatening the global food chain, and these guys seem to be just letting Fukushima thing go on and on and on, just like they did with the oil spill. I mean, if you haven't seen the writing on the wall that they're trying to kill this planet intentionally, I don't know what to tell you. But just like those guys were saying, nuke the well, well, maybe we should just go ahead and just fucking nuke Japan. Fuck it. It means not killing the rest of the planet. I mean, maybe, I don't know. By God. Super strain drug-resistant gonorrhea sounds like something you don't want to catch. Ugh. I mean, you probably have some big green, slimy, pus-laden, scab-looking thing come out of your pee hole. Oh, God. Ugh. Horrible. Oh, this is great. We've seen, last week we had this wonderful piece of chemtrail propaganda that came out of the BBC or Daily Mail or one of those. This one's out of the Daily Mail as well, so it might have very well been that. But it said that we talked about, you guys remember last week, if you listen to the show, that article we had about They've now, after 100 years of aviation or whatever, now discovered for the first time that the physical act of airplanes actually taking off and landing actually can cause the weather to change. It can cause it to rain. It can cause it to snow. Just the sheer act of them. I mean, just pure chemtrail propaganda. Well, they're back this week with yet another one. Dig this. How Allied bombing raids in World War II caused havoc on the climate. Contrails kept morning temperatures down. So they're saying here that because of all the contrails created by planes during World War II, that global temperatures calmed down. So what are they trying to say? If we had more war and had more airplanes going, that we could combat global warming with that? Now, look at this picture. Look at this picture from World War II. Look real closely at that, chat room. Notice how these planes are flying at the same altitude, roughly, but yet some of the planes don't have quote-unquote contrails and some of them do. I don't know about you, but that doesn't look like contrails. Those look like fucking chemtrails. In World War II, look at that. How come some of the planes have trails and some of them don't? It doesn't make any sense. So this is another interesting piece of propaganda from the Daily Mail. The devastating impact of Allied bombers on the enemy played a pivotal role in winning the Second World War, but today they could tell us more about the impact that the flying has on our climate, scientists claim. Researchers have examined meteorological data from wartime bombing raids to see exactly what effect thousands of aircraft have had on the skies. I can't even hardly even read this. It's such bullshit. Oh, my God.
This is bullshit, motherfucker.
Researchers have examined meteorological data from the Met Office, and military records revealed significant change to the sky on May 11th, 1944, when 1,444 aircraft took off from airfields across southeast England. Contrails from the bomber significantly suppressed the rising morning temperature in the air. I'm not even going to read all this. You can read on your own time. It says contrails are formed when hot aerosol-laden air from the plane's engine mixed with cold air in the upper troposphere. Blah, 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 blah. It goes on to talk about September 11th. Blah, 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 blah. But it's a nice try. You got to hand it to them. Now that people are finding out more and more about aerosol spraying and chemtrails, they're trying every week now to deflect it while simultaneously openly talking about, Obama's only openly talked about geoengineering the climate and having to change, well, maybe we do need to alter the climate to save us from global warming. No. They've been spraying chemtrails all this time because they know our planet's getting colder. They've known that for quite some time. They've had TV shows like In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy back in the 70s talking about the ice age that was going to come in around 2010. Well, here we are. Global temperatures have been dropping. They've been blanketing the sky with chemtrails, which creates what they used to refer to as the greenhouse effect. Notice how they don't talk about the greenhouse effect anymore. Why don't they talk about it anymore? Because they're creating the greenhouse effect. Right about the time they figured out the phrase and figured out what greenhouse effect was, they dropped that and started geoengineering the climate with the use of aerosol sprayers and chemtrails and the rest of this stuff. So now they're trying to convince people they're doing this for a benevolent reason and doing this for the benefit of the people so that they can get the people to then fund it and pay for it. That's really the ultimate goal. They're going to lie to us about what chemtrails really are, tell us it's for our own good, and then basically use the global carbon tax and the rest of that stuff for us to make us pay for our own enslavement and our own killing and our own death and everything else. It's just sick, twisted stuff as per usual out of these fucking guys. Yeah, here's another article from the London Guardian. Geoengineering, green versus greed in the race to cool the planet. Critics fear that manipulating weather patterns could have a calamitous effect on poorer countries. These guys, this is how fucking retarded they think we are. These guys, you hear that? You got to be fucking shitting me. Critics fear that manipulating weather patterns could have a calamitous effect on poor countries. These guys are acting like this is something they haven't done yet when we have all the evidence in the world that proves this has been going on for decades. Could have a calamitous effect on poor countries. How about has had a calamitous effect? Weather warfare has been going on for a very long time. Decades. And it just, it makes my fucking blood boil to see these guys think that we're so stupid that we don't know how to read. I understand there are some brain dead people out there that are culture shocked into submission. Wouldn't know the truth if it bit them on the ass. But to think that we can't go and find out that this stuff's been going on for decades, it's an affront to any free-thinking person. So what do you expect, London Guardian? That was another one of fucking that criminal Murdoch, Sovereign Military Order of Malta Murdoch's fucking papers. And speaking of dumb, oh, goddamn. This has got to be undoubtedly
the dumbest fucking rock star that's ever lived.
I mean, Satan would not approve of this guy. This guy is not middle. This has got to be, this motherfucker is the dumbest musician on the face of the planet. Now, if you're in a big rock band, you don't even have to snap your fingers, man. They'll give you trash bags full of any pharmaceutical or drug or anything, whatever you want. Because the people that own the record labels at the highest levels are the same people that run the military-industrial complex, medical-industrial complex, the worldwide drug cartels. They love getting these musicians addicted because they know they have tons of money and that's going to be tons of product they're going to be selling. But this has got to be the dumb... And not only that, but this guy's band sucks dick. These guys, Coheed and Cambria. Oh, God, you ever heard them? Oh, they're fucking terrible. It's crap. It's one, yeah, we're an emo band. Yeah. I always... that fucking term... I mean, who came up with that stupid fucking thing? Anybody that would self-apply the term emo has serious issues they need to deal with. You know, why are you going to have a separate genre of music that, for the most part, sucks? And call it emo. Isn't all music by nature emotional? Emo is short for emotional. Isn't all music by nature emotional? Or at least should be? And whether it expresses anger or sadness or love or any other emotion. I just never understood how they were going to create a subgenre off a term that really encompasses all music. But then you're going to create a subgenre that's just a bunch of, I lost my doggy. Now I am emo. I mean, just crap. They all sing like that, too. Unless you get the fucking... Screamo Cookie Monster shit. Attleboro police said Coheed and Cambria bassist Michael Todd showed a Walgreens pharmacist a note on his smartphone Sunday afternoon saying he had a bomb and demanded prescription drugs. 30-year-old Todd of Anaheim, California, fled with 6 bottles of Oxycontin, taking a cab that dropped him at the tour bus at the Comcast Center in Mansfield, where his band was to open for Soundgarden that night. He was arrested before the show, and the band played without him. Todd initially denied involvement in the robbery, but changed his story when police confronted him with the surveillance video. You are the dumbest fucking guy that's ever been in a band. You're opening for Soundgarden, dude. You can have minions and lackeys. They'll go get you whatever drug you want by the ass load. And you're going to call in a bomb threat before you play a show? I mean, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker of all time. I mean, seriously, give it up. I had to cover that. That was too fucking funny. This guy, I mean, dude, you didn't get the memo? They'll bring you whatever you want, dude. You got to go call in bomb threats at the local Walgreens before a show? Jesus Christ. What do you need with 6 bottles of Oxycontin anyway? You can't do 6 bottles at once, bro. You won't live to see the next show. Christ. And it's not going to help you play better either. It's not going to make your band not suck any less. Actually, you have to numb the pain when your music is that shitty. I don't know. Texas Governor Rick Perry, who is flirting with a presidential bid, has issued a call to prayer for a nation in historic crisis is due to what he claims is a lack of humility before the Christian deity. To facilitate this, Perry has announced plans to convene a meeting of evangelicals next month at Houston's Reliant Stadium. Oh, that sounds like a hoot and a hollering fucking event right there. Must be having a CMP meeting in town that weekend. Maybe I need to go to Houston. He's calling it The Response, and clearly hoping the event will help shore up the religious conservative base. Yeah. CMP meeting in Houston, fellas. Put money on that. Among Perry's prominently featured endorsers of The Response is a pastor who may have Reverend Wright-like consequences for Perry should he decide to seek the presidency, thanks to recently uncovered video of a bizarre sermon about the Statue of Liberty. That pastor is Dr. John Benefiel, founder of Church on the Rock in Oklahoma City. In his sermon, Benefiel suggests that Lady Liberty is actually a demonic idol meant to distract Americans from their only true source of freedom, the Christian Savior. The Statue of Liberty, a national monument intended to commemorate the ideals of freedom, was a gift from the French, blah, blah, blah. I don't tell you any of the real deals. So what's interesting about that, the reason I read this article, the reason what I'm deriving from this, is this sounds like, I don't know anything about this Dr. John Benefiel. I bet you $1 he's connected to the CMP, Heritage Foundation, John Birch Society, maybe all of the above, maybe even the Arlington Group, the tip top of the CMP pyramid. But what he's referring to there, that the Statue of Liberty is a demonic entity, he's referring to the fact that the Statue of Liberty is actually a representation of Queen Semiramis, an ancient Sumerian deity that has been associated with pagan stuff and the rest of it. It's also Columbia. So it sounds to me like whoever this guy is, he's one of these, Christian truther types that likes to twist all the information back towards their Christian paradigm and call everything a demon that goes back to, ancient rites. Classic disinformation. So we'll have to do some research into this Dr. John Benefiel, because it definitely sounds to me that, he's putting out some disinfo there. And the fact that Perry's connected to that guy shows a definite connection to the same type of people we see involved in the Council for National Policy. There very well may be a Council for National Policy meeting going on in Houston that weekend, folks, to discuss the bid for Perry as president. Because I'll tell you this, back in, 99? Was about this time, too, when the elections were going on, when Bush W went down to San Antonio to meet with Tim LaHaye about, them basically endorsing him for president. And they had a CMP meeting going on down there, and that was San Antonio. It looks like it could very well be happening again. There's some crazy static in my headphones, and I don't know where this is coming from. Bear with me for a second here. All right, that's better. Sometimes my headphone thing does something weird after I restart it, and it turns out being okay after that. But look at that again. When is that going on? I'm pretty much booked to the next 3 or 4 weekends. I don't think I could make it down there. But yeah, if anybody's in the Houston area, for this thing called The Response. Oh, it's next month, August. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. Houston's Reliant Stadium. Yeah, this sounds like this could be a big, big gathering of everybody right-wing and Christians, sort of CMP types. I'll definitely keep my eye on this, man. If I find out if there's anything to move on, maybe we can, I'll figure something out, go down there and get some coverage or something. I want to get through all the news in this segment so we can come back and get into our reading of Lost Book of Inky tonight. It's ironic, we had that oil spill happen at Yellowstone a couple of weeks ago, or last week, I guess it was. And we've talked many times here on the show about, the Mother Nature striking back, and, when we do things to the earth and there being a response to that. Listen to this. I think that falls into that category. Bear safety lecture in Yellowstone is interrupted by a bear. How ironic is this? Just 2 days after a rail fatal mauling by a mother grizzly in Yellowstone National Park, a black bear interrupted the taping of a television news segment on bear safety. The odd close encounter on Friday featured a group of kayakers assisting a hiker in her effort to avoid that bear and was captured on video by a visiting cable news crew. Park officials said on Monday that the bear seen in the footage appeared to be minding its own business and posed no immediate threat to the hiker. In the fatal bear attack on Wednesday, Yellowstone's first since 1986, an adult female grizzly with 2 cubs charged after and killed a park visitor who was believed to have inadvertently startled the animal while hiking with his wife. And those things, you know what the fucked up thing about a bear when it attacks, the bear didn't just like, oh, you're dead. No, the bear proceeds to eat your monkey ass. Oh yeah, they'll divide you up to the pups and they'll just start, sucking meat right off the bone, dude. They're fucking brutal. But it looks like Mother Nature is getting a little payback. U.S. law enforcement, this comes from Reuters here. U.S. law enforcement agencies are increasingly obtaining warrants to search Facebook, often gaining detailed access to users' accounts without their knowledge. A Reuters review of the Westlaw legal database shows that since 2008, federal judges have authorized at least 24 warrants to search individuals' Facebook accounts. This is, again, the Trojan horse. This is how they've gotten us to giving up all of our info. And I said long ago, even when MySpace came out, long before Facebook, that social networking was the precursor to national identification cards. The idea of getting you to willfully give up all your information open to the public under the guise of something that, you like and is cool and is awesome, but it's going to be used in their favor. So there you go. Proof positive of that yet again. Reuters article there. JP Morgan is now able to run risk analysis, and price its global credit portfolio in near real time. Listen to this. Sounds like some Caesar supercomputer stuff here. After implementing application-led high-performance computing capabilities developed by Maxillr Technologies, the investment bank worked with HPC solutions provider Maxillr Technologies to develop an application-led HPC system based on field programmable gate array technology that would allow it to run complex banking algorithms on its credit book faster. It says that prior to the implementation, JP Morgan would take 8 hours to do a complete risk analysis run and an hour to do a present value on its entire book. If anything went wrong with the analysis, there was no time to run it again. It has now reduced that time to about 238 seconds with an FPGA time of about 12 seconds. So they can now, with the use of the supercomputer, do what used to take them 8 hours in now 12 seconds. You think that's not going to change the face of everything with these bankers with this in charge? My goodness. They want a faster, more efficient way to basically run their great work, and that's what they want to use the technology for, not to enhance mankind or make our lives better, but to give them a better ability to control us. That's it. End of story. That's all you need to know. All right. Well, I think we're about done with our news here. So we're going to take a break, come back, and get into the Lost Book of Enki for you here tonight. Page 132. Hey, at my website, theglobalreality.com, we have a chipping banner. We have a donate button there. That's how you support our work. We don't have advertisings. We don't have sponsors. We don't have anything. And it's been kind of slim for us since about last Wednesday when we haven't got anything in. It's been almost a week. So please donate if you can. And we need your support right now to keep us commercial free and to keep our work going, get the films coming out. And all right, back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us tonight. Again, my website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. And there at the website, we have the chip and banner and the donate button. Please support our work if you can. And we have been kind of slim over the past week or so, so we could use some help and support right now. So use the chip and banner there for the bills for the month. Donate button for large amounts. If you don't want that to go towards the bills and you want to, to go towards the films or buying equipment or anything else, that's where you do that at. People have been asking for a P.O. box. You give an address. We're working on trying to get that. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get that fixed this week, and I will let you know when we get that up on the website so you can mail in contributions as well. We had a lot of requests for that, so we're trying to get that. It's just been kind of a pain in the butt, but we are working on trying to get that solution fixed, so there you go. All right, let's jump into, by the way, want to mention again the Red Ice Radio interview that I did with Henrik Palmgren, Red Ice Radio. It is now up on their website. You can also hear both hours, hour 1 and 2, the complete 2-hour interview following this broadcast tonight here, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. So keep it locked here, and we'll have that playing. We'll play it a lot this week on through different archives and play it here on the network for you to hear it because it's, we're already starting to see some new listeners, new chatters come in. It's going to be huge, man. It's going to really get the message of what we're trying to do out to a lot of people, and I think that I covered a lot of good stuff, and they said they want to have me back, so that's exciting too. And I think they really did a good job with the presentation of my picture and everything up there. Lots of links to info that I talked about. Really good stuff. So I just want to thank them again for having me on, and definitely forward to doing that again over there. And then we'll find out whatever this TV gig is. Like I said, I'm having a meeting with the casting director, I guess, tomorrow, Skype conference at noon, so I'm going to find out more information. But, they may put me on TV. We'll see. My God, I'll know the apocalypse is upon us then. All right, let's get into the Lost Book of Enki for you here tonight. We left off last time. We're going to just read about a sentence back here. They was about to be a rebellion, a revolt of the Anunnaki that were mining the gold, and they returned to the work in exchange for the agreement for Enki to create a slave race. So he started explaining to Ninmah how he was going to do this. So that's where we're picking up tonight. To a place among the trees, he directed Ninmah. It was a place of cages. In the cages, there were odd creatures, the likes that no one had ever seen in the wild. 4 parts of one kind they had, hen parts of another creature they possessed. Creatures of 2 kinds by their essences combined to Ninmah, Enki was showing to her. They returned to the house of life, a clean place with brightness shining, they led her. In the clean place, Ningashita to Ninmah was giving and explaining the secrets of the life essence, the soul. How the essence from, essence, no, it doesn't really mean the soul here. I'm sorry, it means DNA and that kind of thing. How the essence from 2 kinds of creatures can be combined, he was showing to her. The creatures in the tree cages are too old. Monstrous they are, Ninmah was saying. Indeed so, Enki responded. To attain perfection, for that you are needed. I need to know how the essences combine. How much of this? How much of that to put together? In which womb is conception to begin? In which womb should the birth be given? Implying that males have the ability to actually give birth, but males or females were designated as that. For that, your succor and healing understanding are needed. The understanding of one who gave birth, who is a mother, is required. A smile on the face of Ninmah because of the two daughters that by Enki she mothered and she well remembered. With Ningish Zeta, she surveyed the sacred formulas that on MEs were secreted. How this and that were done of him, she inquired. The creatures in the tree cages, she examined the two-legged creatures and contemplated them. By a male inseminating a female are the essences transmitted. The two entwined strands separate and combine an offspring to fashion. Let a male Anunnaki a two-legged female impregnate. Let a combination offspring be born, Nimrod did say. That we have tried, and it has resulted with failures. Enki responded to her. There was no conceiving, there was no birth. Now, this is the account of how the primitive worker was created. How Enki and Ninmah, with Ningish Zeta assisting, this is how the being was fashioned. They tried another way to obtain the admixture of essences. How the two strands, the double-strand DNA, how to combine another, how to combine the two strands of essences together, another way must be found. That which from the earth is the portion that must not be harmed. To receive our essence in graduations, it must be shaped. So they want to slowly add more and more of their own DNA to these earthbound creatures. From the ME formulas of Nibiru's essence, only bit by bit could be attempted. In a crystal vessel, Ninmah was preparing a mixture. The oval of a female two-legged creature she gently placed. With ME Anunnaki seed, she impregnated the oval. That oval she put back into the womb of the two-legged female. This time there was conceiving. A birth was indeed forthcoming. The allotted time for birth giving the leaders awaited with anxious hearts, seeking the results. The allotted time arrived and there was no birth giving. In desperation, Ninmah made a cutting. That which was conceived with tongs, she drew out. A living being it was. With glee, Enki shouted, "We attain!" Ningazita with joy cried out. In her hands, Ninmah, so I guess they had to cut the umbilical cord. They didn't know about that. Once they did that, they were like, okay, cool, we got this. With joy, she was not filled. Shaggy with hair all over was the newborn. His foreparts like that of the earth creatures. His hind parts like that of the Anunnaki. They let the two-legged female nurse the newborn with her milk for him to suckle. Fast growing was the newborn. What was a day on Nibiru was a month in the Abzu. Taller the earth child grew. In the image of the Anunnaki, he was not. His hands were not suited for tools, and his speech was only a grunting sound. So they basically made a Cro-Magnon man. We must try once more, Ninmah was saying. The mixture needs adjusting. Let me try this or that, and let me try this endeavor again, she says. With Enki and Ningazita assisting, they repeated the procedures. The essences in the MEs, Ninmah carefully considered. One bit she took from one bit she took out from another. Then, in the crystal bowl, the oval of an earth female she inseminated. There was conception. At the appropriate time, there was birth giving. This one more in the likeness was in the likeness of the Anunnaki. They let his birth mother suckle him. They let the newborn child grow. Appealing he was by his looks. His hands were shapen to hold tools. His senses they tested. They found they're deficient. This earth child could not hear. His eyesight was faltered. Again and again, Ninmah rearranged the mixtures of the ME formulas. She took bits and pieces. One being had paralyzed feet. Another, his semen was dripping. So there's just sperm just falling out of this creature. What the hell is that? One had trembling hands. Another had a malfunctioning liver. One had hands too short to reach his mouth. One had lungs that were unsuited for breathing. Enki was disappointed by the results. A primitive worker is not attained to Ninmah, he was saying. What is good or is bad in this being by trials I am discovering. Ninmah responded to Enki, to continue for success, my heart prompts me. Once more an admixture she made. Once more the newborn was deficient. Perchance the shortfall is not in the admixture, Enki was saying to her. Perchance neither in the female's oval nor in the essences is the hindrance. Of what the earth itself is fashioned of, perhaps this is what is missing. Not of Nibiru's crystals use the vessel, of the clay of the earth make it. So this is the idea, mankind being created in God's image. Or the idea of God creating mankind out of clay, these clay vessels. We have the reptilian statues that were stolen out of the Iraq National Museum that were also made out of clay. So she was putting the oval, the egg, in this crystal vessel that came from Nibiru, and Enki saying, no, make it from the earth. You're going to make a human creature. It has to come from the earth. The earth has to be involved in it. You can't just put it in the stuff that came from another planet. It's got to come from the earth because you're making it out of the earth. Enki was possessed with great wisdom. Perchance what is earth's own mixture of gold and copper is required. Thus Enki, who knows things, prompting her to use the clay of the Abzu, made a vessel in the house of life and made it from the Abzu, or earth's clay. As a purifying bath, that's why they call clay earth. Earth and clay. As a purifying bath, she shaped the vessel. Within it to make the mixture. Gently into the clay vessel, the oval of an earth female was placed. The life essence from an Anunnaki's blood she extracted and placed in the vessel. By the ME formulas, the essence was directed, bit by bit, correct bit in the vessel was placed. Thus, the oval fertilized into the womb of the earth female, and she inserted it. There is conception, Ninmah with joy announced. The allotted birth-giving time they awaited. At the allotted time, the earth female began to travail. A child, a newborn, was forthcoming. With her hands, Ninmah extracted the newborn. It was a male. In her hand, she held the child. His image she examined. It was the image of perfection. In her hand, she held up the newborn. Enki and Nigishzida were present. With joyful laughter, the three leaders were seized. Enki and Nigishzida were backslapping. Ninmah Enki embraced and kissed. Your hands have made it, Enki said with a gleaming eye to her. They let the birth-giving mother suckle the newborn. Quicker than a child on Nibiru, he was growing. From month to month, the newborn progressed. From a baby to a child he was becoming. His limbs for the tasks were suited. Speech he knew not. Of speaking he had no understanding. Grunts and snorts were his utterings. Enki pondered this matter. What step should be done next in the mixture, he considered. Of all that we had tried and changed, one thing never altered, he said to Ninmah. Into the womb of the earth female, the fertilized oval was always inserted. Perchance this is the remaining obstruction. Thus, Enki was saying, Ninmah gazed with bewilderment at him. What in truth are you saying? Of the birth-giving womb I am speaking, to Enki was responding. Of who the fertilized oval nurtures, who birth-giving carries, in our image and after our likeness to be, perchance an Anunnaki womb is required. In the house of life there was silence. never before heard were the words that Enki was uttering. They gazed at each other about what in each other's minds they were thinking. Wise are your words, my brother, Ninmah at long last was saying. Perchance the right admixture in the wrong womb was inserted. Now, where is the female among the Anunnaki who will offer her womb? Perchance the perfect primitive worker we will create. Perchance a monster into her belly we will place. They're just saying, we don't know what the fuck's going to come out here. Might be perfectly what we need. Might be some fucking monster. I don't know. Fuck it. Let's try it. Roll the dice, right? Ninmah said to Enki with a trembling voice, let me of Ninki, my spouse, inquire of that, Enki was saying. Now, let me go talk to my broodmare real quick. I mean, I know I fucked you twice and you're my own sister and I got you pregnant and we had a couple of kids, but I still got my broodmare that I married, Ninki. Now, you're just my sister and my hoe on the side. So let me go talk to Ninki, my spouse. She's popped out a few fucking shit rats. Let's go see if she'll pop out another one here for the, hey, baby, I got a job for you. I need you to come open up that pie hole you got down there between your legs and come squeeze a fucking earth baby out of it. What do you think about that? Let's go. No, she said to Enki. The admixtures were made. Reward and endangerment should be mine. I shall be the one Anunnaki womb to provide for good or evil, fate to face. Enki bowed his head, gently embraced her. So be it to her, he said. In the clay vessel, the admixture was made. The oval of an earth female with Anunnaki male essence they put together. The fertilized egg Ninmah put into the womb of Ninmah by Enki was inserted. There was conception. The pregnancy by an admixture was conceived. How long will it last? To each other they wondered. Will it be 9 months of Nibiru or will it be 9 months of Earth? Longer than on Earth, quicker than on Nibiru, travail came. To a male child, Ninmah was giving birth. Enki, the boy child, held in his hands the image of perfection he was. He slapped the newborn on his hind parts, and the newborn uttered proper sounds. So that's where we're told that comes from. Is that if you don't slap the baby on the ass, they don't learn how to speak properly. And that's why they always do that. You know, people ask, why do they always slap the baby on the ass when they're born? Oh, you know, it's just a tradition. They just do that. Or, you know, they give you whatever bullshit explanation. No, that's not what they're saying here. He handed the newborn to Ninmah and she held him in her hands. My hands have made it victoriously, she shouted. And that's the end of that section. Let me get a drink here. All right. Now this is the account of how Adamu, by his name, was called Adamu, being Adam, and the beginning of the Adamic race. And how Tiamat, as in Tiamat, as a counterpart female, was fashioned for him. The newborn's visage and limbs were carefully examined by the leaders. His ears were in good shape and they were not clogged. His limbs were proper, his hind parts like legs, foreparts were shaped like hands. Shaggy like the wild ones he was not. Dark black his head hair was. Smooth was his skin, smooth as the Anunnaki skin was. Like dark red blood was its color. Like the clay of the Abzu was its hue. They looked at its malehood. Odd was its shape. By a skin was its forepart surrounded. Yeah, he had a foreskin. Unlike that of the Anunnaki malehood, it was a skin from its forepart was hanging. That's supposedly why they do that. That's why the Jews do the circumcision. You know, I mean, you've got the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes of Judah, 12 extraterrestrial races. Supposedly that's why they cut the foreskin off and the rabbis suck the blood out of it and shit. And they literally do that. You can look it up. I'm not making that up. There's pictures of it online. If you don't fucking believe me, look it up. Rabbis cut the fucking foreskin off and suck the blood out of it off of the baby. It's a fact. They do that because they are trying to make the offspring of the Anunnaki. It's to take us and basically make us like them. Keeping the foreskin is supposed to make you, actually make you more human, I suppose. Let the earthling from us, the Anunnaki, by this foreskin be distinguished, so Enki was saying. The newborn was beginning to cry. Ninmah held him close to her chest. Her breast she gave him, the breast he began to suckle. And supposedly that's what one of these reptilian clay statues stolen from Iraq depicts. You can see the depictions of it. Supposedly that's what it is. It represents Ninmah suckling the human, the child, the crossbred child they made to her breast. You can see that. And where did those statues go and why were they stolen? Question we all need to ask. Perfection we did attain. Ningishita with elation, he said. Enki was gazing at his sister, a mother, a son, not Ninmah, and a being he was seeing. And what name will you give him? Enki inquired. A being he is, not a creature. Ninmah cast her hand upon the newborn's body. With her fingers his dark red skin she was caressing. Adamu I shall call him. One who is like earth's clay. One who is like the earth, the clay of the earth. That will be his name. For the newborn Adamu, they fashioned a crib in the corner of the house of life. They placed him. A model for primitive workers we have indeed attained, Enki was saying. Now a host of workers like him are needed. A model he indeed shall be. As for himself, like a firstling he shall be treated. From toil he himself shall be protected. His essence alone as a mold shall be. So was Enki saying, by this degree, Ninmah was greatly pleased. From here on out, whose fertilized ovals, whose womb are going to carry the fertilized ovals, Ningishita was asking. The leaders pondered the matter, and Ninmah offered a solution. From her city Shurabak, Ninmah summoned female healers, and she explained the task required to them. To the crib of the Adamu she led them, the newborn earthling to perceive. To perform the task is not a commandment, Ninmah said to them. Your own wish is the decision. Of the female Anunnaki assembled, 7 stepped forward. 7 accepted the task. That's an interesting number. Let their names for all time be remembered, Ninmah said to Enki. Their task is heroic. By them, a race of primitive workers shall come into being. The 7 stepped forward, each one on her name was announcing the names Ningishita had recorded. Ninima, Shuziana, Ninmada, Ninbara, Ninmug, Musardu, and Ninguna. These were the names of the 7 who by their own wish were to be birth mothers on earth. Earthlings they were to conceive and carry in their wombs. Primitive workers they were to create. In 7 vessels of the clay of the Abzu they were made. Ninmah placed ovals of the 2-legged females in their wombs. She extracted the life essence of Adamu, and bit by bit she inserted into the vessels. Then in the male part of Adamu, an incision she made, a drop of blood to let out. This is a sign of life be that the flesh and soul have combined. Let it forever proclaim. So the combining, it represents, okay, they let the drop of blood out when they circumcise them, and it represents the combining of the flesh and the soul, which is exactly what the rosy cross on the Rosicrucian order means. The flower, the rose on top of the cross, represents the soul, the non-material part of the body being crucified upon the body, the physical being trapped. So what they're saying here is that when the drop of blood comes out from the circumcision, that is a sign of life and the combination of the flesh and soul. So if a rabbi sucks that blood out, they take the blood of the combination of the flesh and soul into their bodies. I don't know about you, but that sounds like some cannibalistic alien shit right there if I've ever heard of it. Ugh. She squeezed the male part for blood, 1 drop of blood in each vessel she added to the mixture. In this clay mixture, earthling with the Anunnaki shall be bound. In this clay mixture, earthling to the Anunnaki shall be bound, Ninmah was saying. She was pronouncing an incantation. Now, that's interesting. You read Masonic historians, people like Manly P. Hall, they talk about the Kabbalistic origins of the creation of life. In the beginning, there was the Word. And that when you master the Kabbalistic system, of which I don't think you can even go into until you're what, in your 40s or something like that? But supposedly, if you really, truly master it, you can master the ability to create material life, material being, anything into creation using only the voice. So it's interesting that they do the circumcision, then she starts doing an incantation. Again, you see where the tradition of the Jewish rabbis and the Jewish stuff comes from. 12 extraterrestrial races, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 stones on the ephod communication alien device. Start to see the pattern here, folks. And so Ninmah was saying in incantation, she pronounced, "To a unity shall the 2 essences, one of heaven, one of earth, together be brought. That which is of the earth and that which is of Nibiru shall be forever bonded in a blood kinship." So was Ninmah pronouncing her words, Ningazita also recorded. In the wombs of the birth-giving heroines, the fertilized ovals were inserted. There was conception, with anticipation was the allotted time counted. Oh, I lost my place. Hold on one second. So with Ninmah pronouncing, in the wombs of the birth-giving heroines, the fertilized ovals were inserted. All the allotted time, 7 male earthlings were born. Their features were proper, good sounds they were uttering. By the heroines, they were suckled. 7 primitive workers have been created. Let the procedure be repeated. 7 more to undertake the toil. My son, to him Enki was saving, not even 7 by 7 sufficient shall be. Of heroine healers too much is required. Forever their task will be this way. Indeed, the task is too demanding. Glow beyond enduring it is. Female ones we have to fashion, Enki was saying, for males to be their counterparts. Let them each know each other as one flesh, the 2 to become. Let them by themselves procreate on their own to the childbirthing make. To primitive workers by themselves give birth, Anunnakis, females to relieve. The formulas you must change from male to female, make the adjustment. For a counterpart to Adamu is to be fashioned in the womb of an Anunnaki female. Conception is needed. Inca gazed at Ninmah directly. Before she could speak, he raised his hand. Let me this time, Ninki, my spouse, summon, with a strong voice, he said. If she is willing, let her be the mold for the female earthling to create. They to the Abzu, to the house of life, summoned Ninki. They showed her Adamu, and all the matters of this situation were explained to her. Of the task that is required, they gave explanations of successes and danger to her. By the task, Ninki was fascinated. Let it be done, she said to them. Yeah, fuck it. Here you go. I'll open up. Yeah, fucking put that bitch in me. Yeah. I'll shit one out for you. Shit out another fucking gold mining slave for you. Here you go. There's another one. Let's keep cranking them out here. Maybe we can get this fucking gold in our atmosphere and save our asses here. Come on, let's go. It's fucking 9 months for one of these things to be born. I've said that for the longest time. It seems that they allowed a population to explosion to happen on this planet to get, their agenda achieved. And once they've got their agenda achieved, now they've started instituting eugenics to get rid of those extra people that they created to get their agenda this far. It's sick, man. But it's very much the real reality that's going on in this world. There was conception in the allotted time. Ninki was in travail. A birth there was not. Ninki counted the months. At the 10th month, the month of evil fates, they began to call. Ninma, the lady whose wombs had opened, made a cutter inside of the incision. Her head was covered. On her hands, she wore protection. Also, they're doing a cesarean section, huh? A female to birth was given. The newborn's visage and limbs were then carefully examined. Of good shape were her ears. Her eyes were not clogged. Her limbs were proper. Hind parts, like legs, foreparts for the hands were shaped. Shaggy she was not. Like beach sands was the hue of her hair, blonde. Her skin was smooth, as that of the Anunnaki in smoothness and color it was. Ninma, the girl child, held in her hand, she slapped her hind parts. Proper sounds were uttered from the newborn. To Ninki, the spouse of Enki, she then handed the newborn to be suckled, nourished, and raised. A name will you give her? Enki inquired. A being she is, not a creature. In your image she is, after your likeness. Perfectly she is fashioned, a model for female workers you have attained. Ninki cast her hand upon the newborn's body. With her fingers she caressed her skin. Tiamat, let her name be, the mother of life. Like the planet of old, which the earth and the moon were fashioned, let her be called. From her womb's life essences of other birth givers shall be molded. To a multitude of primitive workers she shall thereby be giving life. Thus was Ninki saying, the other words of concurring were uttered. So there you go. So they've now bred themselves a perfect male and a perfect female, and are going to go about the business of continuing to see what they can do to use this. Very interesting because, you sort of get this idea that there was some care involved, but you just sort of see this hapless idea of, they're just going around. They don't know if the fuck's working. They're just going, oh, try this. It didn't work. Trial and error. It's nice to see that trial and error is not something that exists just in our realm. It seems that, but this is where the elite get this idea of, experimenting on animals and doing experimenting on humans. And this mentality comes from the quote-unquote gods, the ones that fashioned mankind. That's why our rulers are so bloodthirsty and do the kind of things that they do. Because it's in their fucking DNA. It's in their blood to do that. It is genetically programmed into the elite to always do nothing but the continuation of the great work and be damned anything that gets in its way. Be damned how many people it kills. The only thing important is their work, and you see them saying that here. The only thing that's important is that we mine the gold. The only thing that's important is that we fashion a slave race. Whatever we have to do to get our agenda accomplished is what we have to do. And, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. We just got to try this until we get it to work. And you see that sort of same thing happen with countries and governments and everything today, don't you? You guys are like, fuck it, let's just keep trying until we get it right, Unbelievable stuff there. Great stuff out of Lost Book of Enki. We'll pick up more on that tomorrow night. And God. Give me just a second here. Yeah, I'm going to have to find where I left off. Yeah, there we go. Now, this is the account of the Adamu and the Tiamat in the Eden. So let me try to find what page that is so we can all make sure we pick up on there next time. So I guess it's the end of 143 and the beginning of page 144. So yeah, 144. Let's all try to remember. 144. Okay, that's what we're going to pick up next time. All right, folks. We're going to have the Red Ice radio interview coming up for you next, the 2-hour interview that I conducted last week. It's going to be playing next on the network. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. And, boy, looking forward to the future here. And we continue to push on. Please donate to our work if you can so we can continue here. Running low on funds right now, so we could use any support we can get. TheGlobalReality.com is my website. Chipping banner donate button is there. Links to listen live. All of my films are all there. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you, and we will see you guys next time for the broadcast. Have a good one. Have a great night. Take care.